I don't even know where to start. I don't know, like things will come to me and I'll rehearse them in my head and rehearse them and let me turn on the camera and it's like, where do we start? I don't even want to go into like cards as much. Like, seek the lessons, change is unavoidable. Know you belong. Maybe that's kind of where this is all coming to a point or coming to a head. Like discussing the difficult things and the hard things. Like, people don't want to go into that space, but it's so important. And it just seems like in getting into the unknown, like it brings up all these fears and uncertainties or change maybe, and people don't want to change. They want to hold on to things as they are, this illusion or this false sense of belonging, identity, light. And it sucks because I feel like in a lot of these spaces, like I'm expected to be so much more positive and bubbly and exuberant, and people, I don't know, but people are going through some really difficult fucking things, right? And when you have other people kind of looking in and trying to put you down, well, that's why I titled this. Maybe that's kind of my North Star for the topic. Kick me, I'm down. Like, I feel like crap. Like, I'm grateful for what I have and the things that I have, and I feel like if we express anything other than that it is somehow assumes that we're not, or I don't know. I just feel lack of support. See the truth. Wash away burdens. See the truth. Be patient, right? Patience pays. Wait, good things will come. Consolidate. Concentrate. Just be you. You were born to create. Creative space. That's why people come into this space, I suppose. And worth and value has been on my mind a lot. I feel really taken advantage of and really worthless. And like, because of that, I guess, or it's just expected that I'm supposed to give and 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 give. And I can't take anything, or if I take anything, then I'm somehow a bad person or something, or if I get something out of anything, then it's somehow because I've done something wrong. And so people just feel like they can just keep taking and taking and taking and taking and taking from me. Not everybody. And I do my best to not take without reciprocating. sometimes what you want to give people, what you have to give people, they don't want to take, or they take but they won't reciprocate. And then what? These are messenger oracle cards going into animals. Respect your boundaries. Let go of the old. Letting go, letting go, letting go. And it's a peacock. It's transformation. It's 22. I wonder what the number 22 means. I might look it up. I don't know. I have a computer. It's a master number, second of master numbers. Intuition, emotions, balance, diplomacy, harmony, adaptability, redemption, personal power, idealism, evolution, expansion, service and duty, idealism, philanthropy. Let's shuffle these. I'm going to go into New Tarot. I'm on my phone today, so I hope the sound quality is better than on my computer. I'll get my mic set up eventually. I can't see comments here, maybe in this space, but we'll see. As always, if you jump onto here and you have questions, you can put them in into the comment feed. Interesting. 7 discs in roots. Something yesterday came up about roots. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about that. Because I don't remember exactly the story, but this kind of makes me think of that. And it's 7, so there's a sense of wholeness and balance there. But in essence, we talk about cultivating conscious co-creative communities and culture, right? So if I'm talking about cultivating something, then we're talking about planting things and planting seeds. And the information that came through to me yesterday is if you're going to plant something, things must grow down before they grow up. Like if a seed sprouts, it's about the roots first and planting the roots. And there are a lot of different types of seeds that have really deep roots. And what is difficult is in the balance or harmony of things. Like the devil popped up in this. So if there are people out there trying to prevent you from, well, it's not even that. We'll just say there's like darkness and light. And so you have these dark forces or these forces that are trying to prevent you from cultivating a sense of lightness or a sense of consciousness, perhaps, or becoming aware of yourself and your power and your energy. And in the story, it's a biblical story, and something along the lines of a good seed has been planted and the enemy has been laying in wait so that once the good seed has been planted, they can come in and plant weeds. And up with the wheat comes the weeds, and then what do you do and how do you address this? Because you can't pull up the weeds as the wheat is growing because you pull up the roots of the wheat, right? So you have to wait, you have to let the weeds grow along with the seeds that you've planted and learn when to cultivate them at the right time. And knowing that somebody has planted weeds in amongst your field, but knowing you can't do anything about it, or it's just, there's nothing you can do about it. In hindsight, it's not a good feeling. It doesn't feel good. It feels very violent, like violated, and somebody violating that space. And those violations are going to occur all the time. or perpetuating a sense of something. And it's hard because I want to talk about a lot of things, and in talking about a lot of things, I talk about it from personal experience. And in talking about personal experiences, people get to this space in the depths or in the roots of things where, I don't know, maybe they just get uncomfortable, or maybe their roots are being, or their resources at least, are being drained by the weeds, so they're not getting the full nutrients and full aspects. So they can't fully hear or receive anyway. And there's just so much pain and suffering in the world, and there's just so much going on that's really difficult, and people want to look past it and don't want to talk about it, and like, oh no, just blah 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 blah, go into the fluffy light world, like just let it go, just whatever. And or if we bring up things to talk about that are difficult, it turns into an argument. We're missing out on these opportunities of the teacher. I mean, this is coming in to seek the lesson. I mean, if you're coming here to seek the lesson, then find the lesson in it. There is no losing. And for whatever reason, it seems that in this cultivation of all of this, as a lot of these ideas are sprouting, or it's like, there's this sense of, as I'm being born into this, and as I'm creating, or as I'm inserting myself and placing myself into these spaces, into these energies, there's this, I guess, aspect of something within the environment that's like there's not enough, or something I've heard too in trying to reach for community support. Like, just for general context, like, I'm kind of at the bottom of the barrel here. And I've been down here a lot. And I feel like in trying to pioneer, or cultivate, or do something new, or pave a way for myself, I don't feel like I belong anywhere. But I'm here, I'm on Earth, right? So if there's nothing here for me to be me, or I've heard before, the venue for me, or whatever it is, the space for me doesn't exist yet. When does it exist? How do you bring all of that into context without somebody trying to take it all away from you, or trying to build something new, right? And then anytime you're innovating something or trying to create, right, things don't always work, or don't always go as planned, or you can't plan things. Or yesterday, somebody had said to me, do you have a plan? And maybe not kind of plan you think. And I was thinking to myself, a plan? No, I don't know. How do we in these, okay, so I guess here's where we go and find the answers. Focus and then act. Oh, it's this one. I saw a video too earlier this morning. Your horse will show you danger. Trust your horse will show you danger. They can sense it. They can sense danger. And it's difficult when you can sense danger. And you're trying to convey that or communicate to that to somebody who's trying to ride off your back. They don't want to listen. They want to try to steer you in a certain direction. But it's like, I'm here to tell you, look, there's like there's danger and it's not up for conversation, and not like it's in this space, or like not like you have anything to be worried about. It's just there. Empress card comes up. Let's shuffle through these. I don't want to rely heavily on cards, because as much as we want to go into mysticism and belief, then we start giving our powers away, or our energy away. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. You can ask me a question. You can ask me any kind of question. It doesn't even have to make sense. It can be vague. 3 discs. This one has popped up a couple of times, just kind of. Oh, even in this one too. 3 discs and 3 cups. We have a structure. Let me look at the book, because we're trying to build something into newness. Havingness is something to do here. I mean, discs, we're talking about resources. Cups, we're talking about emotions, emotional resources. And how do you bring these elements together? There's a trifecta. Or there's some other piece that I was thinking about while I was making my coffee, or there's always a third element. To bring in, I guess, to bring us out of that duality. Because humans, we have a tendency to want to either be black or white thinking in this environment that we exist in on its primal level. It's either light or it's dark, or it's energy or the void, and these things having to exist together. Just read the book. Let's look at discs first, because it's more comfortable, I think, for people to address the external and material aspects than it is for them to address the emotional aspects and to want to dive in. Somebody had said to me recently in a casual passing interesting conversation, I don't know, just little bits will come up, but they had mentioned something about the cobwebs in my thinking, and one of those like deep low kind of low blows, and it's like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? What do you mean? Let's say what you mean. Sorry about the F word. Really clear it all out. I mean, it doesn't. Remnants of former creativity. Be patient. Just read out of the book. Progress through collaboration, a supportive working environment, equitable systems of growth that disenfranchise no one. Interesting, because we have groups and systems and whatnot are just feeling the lack of support of the community and being disenfranchised, not being allowed to be part of the circle and not being allowed to be part of the group, somehow being judged negatively or as an outsider, or being judged as something that doesn't belong. And then being told that you don't deserve support, that you should support people who don't support you instead. Something about the community. This card encourages us to pull up others as we climb. And so if I'm down here at the bottom of the barrel, how do I encourage people to pull me out? Because it seems like they don't want me to get out. They want me to stay down at the bottom of the barrel. Like, they want to be able to, not lift me up. They want to kick me while I'm down. Like there's a sense of not trusting that if I get out, I won't pull them out too. Or I'll somehow, if I somehow am not at the bottom, I'm going to leave everybody behind. Which breaks my heart because I feel like being down at the bottom, I'm doing nothing but supporting. And supporting and supporting and supporting and supporting, and I can't carry the weight of it all anymore. And it's like, you can't carry the weight of it all anymore, and then what, you're crazy, or you can, or they're just going to kick you even more? And then what? Try to build some sort of foundation off your bones, off your carcass, like build something out of you, instead of allowing you to get out of this bucket to build something for everybody? I don't understand. Maybe that's why I come to this space. It's because I'm trying to understand why sorry. But I mean, like, that's just it. Like, when you're down at the bottom, it's like people can only lift you so high. And you call and you call and you call to the top. You call to the top and call to the top, right? But they just don't see you. Or they just see you as beneath them. And if you're beneath them, then somehow it warrants that exploitation or that disenfranchisement or that disconnection or... frustrated, sorry. There's a lot going on. And I need more support. So I'm looking for it. Right, I ask for it, I reach out, and 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 I reach out. Don't we keep reaching out, and keep reaching out, and keep reaching out, and keep reaching out, until somebody can finally, like... But what else am I supposed to do? Like, what else do you do at this point? Discs, right? When the three of discs appears, building or growth is taking place, leading to tangible results. More work will need to be done, but you are already well on your way to achieving your goal. And it just feels like... What is it? What is the axiom? Like, the closer you get, the further things feel that they are away. Or, like, you just have to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. Like, when you think you're almost there, you're not. You just have to keep going and keep going. Keep going. I'm tired. And I imagine a lot of people are feeling that way, too. Let's look at what 3 cups are, because we're going into the emotional thing, because there's so much external pressure pushing and pulling and whatever in all these different directions, non-acceptance. I don't know if this is like a drawing error or something, but it's interesting in this 3 discs. Before I go into the cup aspect, there's a bit of an optical illusion drawn into the shape and the figure itself, but the hand at the bottom here, right, it's missing the fingers. So something is not transparent, or it's like the hands are cut off at the bottom or something. If the hands are cut off at the bottom, what are you supposed to grab onto when somebody reaches down? Fuck. Heavy stuff. And it's okay. It's okay to have emotions. We're going to go into 3 cups. It's okay to have expressions of this. I've had a couple of people very close to me come to me lately, or just like the amount of, just, I'm not going to go into that yet. Cups, 3 cups. Love crowned and triumphant, the 3 of Cups is a celebration of the love you receive and give to those around you. This card represents free-flowing support and an abundance of goodwill. As you have given, so you shall receive. Your community celebrates and supports you, and you feel strong for having found the support. Ironic, because I don't know. It's there. But Hermity, maybe that's another aspect of this triangulation, maybe even. Robin, you're wonderful. Hermit is 9, right? So he stands at the top of the mountain. I mean, even here, there's a peak, and things are elevated in their support. But again, up here at the top, there's a sense of exaltation for this crowning sacred. It's at every corner, though. What deck do we go into next? I'm going to smudge a little bit more, and maybe I'll go into the Deviant Moon, because I have it sitting here. It's like just shake off loneliness. It's a spam call. Shake off loneliness. It's okay to be alone. The worst feeling is feeling lonely in a group of people or in a community. And oftentimes we just feel lonely because we're not communicating or not opening ourselves up. Maybe that's what this 2 of Wands is sitting over here. We're not opening ourselves up to this vulnerability because we're holding on to old things and old structures because we're what? The change is unavoidable. And people want to avoid changing and avoid making changes. The catalyst comes along. Speaking of creativity and innovation, and catalyzes change in your life, and you resist that change, there becomes conflict. I think even in pulling the weeds, right? You're resisting conflict and uprooting yourself in the midst of it all. But why would somebody plant those seeds there in the first place? Maybe we'll get to that part of it. Time to ground. Talk about seeds, right? Time to ground, planting in nature, your natural self. Let's look at 2 of Wands, and then I'll go into Deviant Moon to answer my question. A spark has been ignited and an action plan is formulated. You're just setting out, planning for a happy future. And I was talking about planning too. Do you have a plan? A plan A, a plan B, a plan C, like there's so many plans you can have. How do you plan for the unexpected? You survive, you go into survival mode, or you just know that fitness is survival. I don't know what that's supposed to... Planning for a happy future. Can I have a happy today? It's like happiness comes from within, but sometimes to find it, we have to feel the deep, deep, deep feelings, and those dark feelings, and really, really dig in, right? The deeper our roots are, the taller our fruits will reach. Kind of all over the place, that's okay. But birthing, something being birthed. These are your first optimistic and self-assured steps forward on a new path. A risk is taken with a positive outlook. Positive outlook in addressing the negative things. That was something that came up in a comment feeder about something else too, or people wanting to just avoid darkness at all costs, like it's somehow a bad thing, but you can't see the light unless you're in the dark. If you stare into a light, or if you stare into the sun, I have a bright light right in front of me. If I stare into it, one, I'm going to look away and I'm going to get, again, optical illusions. I'm going to get these after images where I'm going to see a representation of where the light was, but it's not there. And it's colored differently. It's inversion. If I stare at it long enough, it's going to do damage to my retina. I'm going to be blind and I'm not going to see anything and be walking around in perpetual darkness. But if I'm walking around in perpetual darkness, right, I can't be blinded by the darkness. I can just choose to turn my back to the light, but I know that it's there, and if I look at it and I see the light, hello, it's not going to blind me until I fully submerge myself within it and forget to look at the darkness. Or to balance that out, right? We walk around in daylight in the sunshine, but we don't walk around in daylight in the sun staring at the sun. We stare at the things that are darkest. We stare at black because it comforts the eyes. The eyes can rest. All the light's there. It absorbs all the light. All the light is within it. But if I stare at something bright white, I can't see and my eyes water. So quite literally, I have to wear sunglasses a lot. My eyes are so light. They just take in a lot of light, and it's overwhelming. It burns. But unity, right? Unity and community and bringing these together, that's what comes through if you can open up and communicate. And if you can actually, that's part of it. That's part of being a community, is accepting people. If you're belonging into a community, but you're exiling people or excluding people or leaving people out of the community, you're not a community. You're a cult. Right? The word cult came up yesterday in something I was listening to as well. Let's look at the definition of it, because it is in the cultivation of, right? Or the root of cultivating. Etymology is really important when you're communicating. So cult, a relatively small group of people having beliefs or practices, especially relating to religion, that are regarded by others as strange or sinister, or as imposing excessive control over members. I was going to say executive control. A misplaced or excessive admiration for a particular thing. The cult of the pursuit of money as an end in itself. This is just from a Google search. A person or thing that is popular or fashionable among a particular group or section of society. a system of religion, veneration, and devotion directed towards a particular figure or subject. And you see this in a lot of group settings a lot. There's a difference between group and community. Community, I think, is more conceptual. It's not an actual thing, right? Community as a concept is built around ideas of the material and the emotional and the spiritual coming together. There's community. It's a sense of something, right? It's a sense of community, of belonging, of feeling, of home. But if it's missing that, or if you have to compromise, or I wouldn't even say compromise, but if you have to be something you're not to fit in, then it's a group or it's a clique. Especially if there's one central figure around that, or driving ideology, because it's limiting and it's exclusive, and that's not community. It's a group, it's groupthink. And if we go into groupthink, then we're going into the psychology of the sheeple. We the sheeple. And then we miss out on the independent thinking, or we get to these people who are innovative and independent thinking and outside of that group of the sheep, and then they're condemned. Let's look at the word cultivate. If I had more time to go into this, maybe I would. Cultivate. Prepare and use land for crops or gardening, raise or grow, especially on a large scale for commercial purposes, break up soil in preparation for sowing or planting. Is that what is so uncomfortable about this and about this process in that space, is that breaking up of the soil? And that's where the projections and the attacks come in, or whatever's been hidden or locked up in that soil for a long time. That's whenever all that stuff comes out. It's hard work. It's laborious. But those seeds can't be planted in rocks. But it's like rocks are like, give me the seed. But the chances of something growing in there, it's possible, but if you get a seed or something that grows inside of a rock, it starts to break up the rock from the inside out, and eventually the rock will deteriorate and to turn into soil. So the change is unavoidable. I mean, eventually these things will come to a head, but we're presented, or in if I confront somebody like that head on, wow, there's a lot of resistance. But it's difficult, because it's like, kick you while you're down, and you're down, and you're down, and they keep kicking you, and they keep kicking you, and they keep kicking you, and then eventually you're buried. And then you're buried, and then what happens? The roots grow. Deep, deep, deep roots, and I can feel like my roots really deep. I want to sprout. I want to sprout like a sumac. But these weeds, man. It's like they're shooting up faster than I can. Or like just trying to choke me out from the bottom. But the roots are really shallow. They're just very entangled. So mine have to go deeper and deeper and deeper. But if I pull the weeds at this point, right, or at any time before this, if I would have tried to pull on any of that, it would have completely uprooted everything. But the roots are super deep. Did I finish 2 wands? No. This is the spirit of boldness and courage, new growth, and the energy and excitement at the start of a new project or goal. A new goal. Set a new goal. I think that's kind of what we're doing here. This is the space where you have to set a goal. Embrace the feminine. Okay. The goal is centered around this, embracing the feminine. And I just read something too, and I posted it on my Sita's page, an article about Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom. And I mean, he's complaining now because he's not getting laid enough, or he's not getting enough sex from his woman. He's not being able to exploit or extrapolate his energy from the feminine, right? Embrace the feminine, make the sacrifice. But he had made mention of how 6 months prior to his meeting her, his relationship with her, he went celibate. And it's such an important and powerful energy to be in. And for the last, I would say for the last year and a half, I spent, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, a good almost 4 years, maybe more, I don't know, lost track, like in the space of celibacy. Interesting incubating space to be in. And if you haven't been in that space, make the sacrifice to be in that space, to feel that creative energy and embracing the feminine, especially men being able to embrace the feminine nature. Or like Orlando Bloom had made some sort of comment in there of like, I learned I could, go to a party or something like that and not have the energy of like, all right, who am I taking home tonight? But of actually like making friends with women. Getting to know women and getting to know himself and getting to know his own feminine energy on that level without having to prove his manhood by getting laid whenever he wants. See yourself in nature, make the sacrifice. Maybe I'll read about what make the sacrifice is, because it's just part of the feminine nature and some of what the female has to go through in that birthing process. I think it's very difficult. It felt like becoming a mother was a rite of passage. It also felt like in losing babies in the womb, another rite of passage. But what does it mean? Giving birth to something larger than that and bigger than that. Let's look at Make the Sacrifice. Where's this booklet? It's still in here. Ooh, time flies in this space. I feel really vulnerable. And I feel like oftentimes in these spaces, these are where those weeds like to creep in and try to take over. So I just ask that if you're not in this space of wanting to bring harmony to all that you leave, because I just can't. Receive any more underhanded remarks from people who think they're somehow above me without saying something. And it's just not a comfortable space for people, or where people want to be, and they just don't want to go there. But we're going there. We're going there. Okay, make the sacrifice. You will not achieve the outcome you desire if you are unwilling to act upon your intentions. It is not as simple as wanting something to happen or believing that it will happen. You have to make it happen, and to make it happen requires that you be willing and ready to do whatever is necessary, no matter the sacrifice. For everything you desire, you must give of yourself in return. Okay, let's go into deviant mood. Because I had a question there. I don't remember exactly what it was, but maybe it'll answer itself. I don't know. I'll watch back through this and listen through it again and see if any other pieces and parts and information come out. And then go from there. I'm going to smudge again before we go into this space. It's okay to feel feelings. Sometimes people just need to be in groups in communities where they can feel. But we get into these groups, and groups have to feel a certain way. Which is why I like being a hermit. But at the same time, just long for community. A supportive community that can give me the space to be the hermit, but that will still come to me. And still reach out to me without thinking that I want to be alone. I want to be in community, and I want to feel like family. And it's hard because in a lot of these groups that I've associated myself with over the years, it's like making the mistake of turning these groups into families, or trying to create that deeper connection. And when it's not reciprocated, like, how do you not internalize it? You reveal your truth. Don't internalize it by revealing your truth. If you're internalizing things, and you're hiding things, and you're revealing your truth, or you're concealing your truth. And so how many people are you walking around while your truth is concealed, and you're interacting with them and their truth is concealed? You know, and everybody's being false, and then you're walking around in an army of false light, and everybody is false, and everybody is fake, and everybody is pretend. Nobody is real, and nothing is authentic. And it's just this veil over veil that people don't want to look beyond, and they don't want to look through, and they get so attached to things as they are, thinking that they're just fine, and maybe just fine for you, but not for the community. Ace of Wands. I'm going to save that one there just for me. And I'm going to save this one here just for me. And no, I'm not going to show you. No, I'm not going to disclose everything of me. Because then what comes along? Then what happens? And somebody's like, let's go plant more weeds. I'm tired. I'm really tired. Like, I've reached this point of being so far at the bottom again and having to start over again. I don't know how many times in my life that I've like just tried and then I've had to start over and tried to do something new and then I've had to start over. Like, we're on how many times now? And here we are again. And I've just reached this point with it where I'm just like, I want to give up. I don't want to give up. Weeds want me to give up. Things around me want me to give up. Just turn off the monkey chatter and the roots keep growing and the sun keeps shining. Keeps stretching towards the light. Right? How do you tune out the beraters? Not all is lost. Two cups. So here we have this energy aberration. What are we? 5 cups. 5 cups to 2 cups. It's like, despite all the conflict and the turmoil and the whatever, like, love still remains, hope still remains. So love and hope are still here despite all the conflicts and the issues. Then there's like a return of a past lover to return of a past thing. Then I have this one here, this 2 cups, where on one hand there's like a bond that seems to be working, but there's something auspicious about this as well. Maybe that's kind of where the warning is. This is kind of back to things not being exactly as they seem. Darkness being disguised as light and light being disguised as darkness. Midnight has been tempted by death and a pact has been made between the 2 lovers. Raising 2 cups, they toast the bond of their union. Upright, we have love, harmonious partnerships coming together. Reversed, we have false love, broken relationships, and conflicting interests. And this is one of those situations or one of those things where if things are hidden and somebody's not being fully honest and fully themselves, or they're not being true, you'll see it in the future. It's not going to manifest itself right away, but the relationship will crumble. It may look like it's working out and things are okay now. Where on the other hand, if there seems to be conflict or there's like issues or things that you need to work through, then work through them. Because bonding and partnership and things can happen through all of this, but the communication needs to be authentic and real in so many aspects, not even just in relationships, but in work as well. And there was a situation recently where a representative from an organization who didn't want to support a project of mine in favor of supporting somebody else or something, whatever that was, created a situation where there's unresolved conflict, right? Like I have a lot that I want to say and that needs to be said, or like my side of the story needs to be heard, but people aren't willing to hear it. And this woman comes into this situation, into this context, as if nothing had ever happened, as if there's not conflict, or as if there's not an issue, that I'm supposed to just pretend like everything's okay and put on a smiling face and then just go on and carry on this conversation. And it felt so difficult. And she walked by 5 times. 2 times I could have this interaction, and the other 3 I had to walk away. I couldn't have that false interaction. I couldn't relate without first wanting to be heard and seen for who I am, not for who people think that I am because of what other people say, or not because of the discomfort that comes up in this rawness and in this authenticity, because some people like it, some people can handle it, some people can see it as something respectable and worthy of love, of energy, of just support, of acceptance. And other people just so mean. So mean. So mean. And they just, let's look at that. 4 wands. If you just popped on, maybe this one is specifically for you because it just really shifted the energy here. A celebration of joy. The fruits of your labor will be sweet. The 4 of Wands brings blessings for a new beginning, a happy union, an arrival at a place you used to only dream about. Remember to appreciate all you have and share joy with those you love. Building begins on a spiritually fulfilling project that will benefit you and those around you. The Lovers and bringing things together and things that are unifying they'll pull the pieces together, but not without addressing the things that are most difficult first. Because if you can't address it, then you won't. And I think we have to let go of our expectations and our need to control. Consolidate some of these because I've got cards everywhere. They're all over the place. if you have a question, you can ask. Now is an opportunity to. I'll maybe hang out here for another 15, 30 or so. We've got an hour in. I'm just in a space where I'm carrying a lot, and just I need to get some stuff off my chest. I don't know if I'm quite venting, maybe in a roundabout way. But I've just been holding in a lot, and I don't know if it's people pleasing or trying to keep the peace or just trying to preserve myself in some sort of way. I'm one of those where I have to process things for a while. That's my hermity side. I don't know if it's a trait that shows up in the realm of Taurus and some of these patients or whatever. But I'm very methodical, and if something is bothering me or if I really want something, think about it for a long time. And if I can think about it and it stops bothering me, okay, then I can let it go. But if it's still there, if I'm ruminating on it, or if there's something that's brewing, kind of this space, if I'm feeling this, if I know that change is unavoidable, and I can sense it coming and I can feel something coming, I have to talk about it. I have to communicate it. I have to express it in some way or another. I can't keep it in. It makes me feel really disconnected, and I don't like it. It makes me feel silenced and unempowered, and I don't like it. I like being able to express myself in a safe space. And I'm really frustrated by groups, people, containers that are intentionally unsafe. Like, there's already danger lurking around every corner, and then for people to purposely, on purpose, create unsafe containers. What is a safe container anyway? King of Cups. These are archetypes, right? There's cues, symbols, pictures, colors, all kinds of things in here that are going to help us bring up or uncover things that are subconscious. Again, it's not that it's so much like it's mystical or it's powerful, but I think that intention needs to be very clear. Realm of Cups filled with new promises, hopeful people building harmonious relationships with fellow citizens, harmonious relationships, artistic, creative, leadership, free-thinking businessmen. There's insight, intuitive leadership and creativity. If anything, it's intuitive. It's intuitive, it's creative, it's something new, it's something different. Invocation. Okay, this one came out again. We'll talk about it. Pulled it out before the King of Cups and opened it up to it again. And Three of Cups and Three of Cups again. And we had Three of Cups in the other deck as well as that trifecta. Alright, this one. Where are you? This one seems a little bit more auspicious kind of within that group setting in that context. And that circle jerk, right, that'll eventually swallow you whole. Okay. 3 merry souls celebrate their deliverance as they emerge from the inside of a fearsome sea creature. In spite of personality differences, the trio toasts their shared good fortune. What was once a dark situation has finally been overcome. Solution to problem, celebrating victory over hardships, merriment. Coming out of the darkness. Something emerges. And it's there. It's like right on the precipice of happening. There's just all this conflict and all this turmoil and wanting to turn away from the emotions, which leads us to this position of power where we're reaching for monetary things, and then again the disenfranchisement that happens. Then we lead to this realm where we're wishing we can get back to these emotions and things again. But then it becomes a battle that we have to fight for, and then we're finally going to get out of the dark, and then eventually, after coming through all the turmoil and the battle and walking through the fire, then we can have an understanding of what those emotions are. 8 Cups is standing out to me because you're trying to avoid something, avoiding the change and wanting to hold on to these ideologies or this image or something that you portray. But this deck also just has, I'll just read it to you. The woman in red has abandoned her old ways, for they are no longer relevant to her life. Wanting no part of the past, she moves on to new, brighter situations. Change of plans, ending one's endeavors, abandoning old ways, looking for better things. Seeing things through, perseverance, taking a risk. Throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Let me look up something real quick. And we're going to start to wind down this energy, wind down this space. Throwing the baby at the last meaning. Okay. I think there's a piece of this in here for me as far as self-worth. Because again, I feel worthless. And that I've been putting in everything I got. Everything. I've been sacrificing left and fucking right. I've been putting in all the hard work and energy and positive intention and all this that I can into growth, and I'm broke. I have nothing. I don't have anything that I can call my own. I get job offers where people want to pay me $0 or want to pay me like a fifth of what I'm worth. And so then I have these beautiful, wonderful mirrors around me, and I have to acknowledge them because I'm super grateful for them, where they reflect back these images of me and these sides of me that I can't even see for myself that are so brilliant and bold and shining. And they feel far away, and they feel far and few in between. But there's such bright lights in this darkness that it's just what keeps me going. That's not to say that within the immediate environment around me, there's these aspects and reflections or whatever that's just showing me somehow that I somehow don't belong, or I'm like bad. It's like walking through one of those like circus like hall of mirrors or something, where all the mirrors are distorted and they're reflecting back these things that are not true at all, but being so lost in this hall of mirrors of just false reflections, it's disorienting and it's nauseating and it's traumatizing to see yourself in these horrific distortions that somebody else has created. And I can see how people can get lost in this maze. And it's just, I don't know, like if you're wandering around in this, like you have to know where to look through experience and reach out to the teacher. I don't know. Truth is there. How did I even get into this hall of mirrors is what I'd like to know. To throw the baby out with the bathwater is an idiom that means to discard something valuable or important while disposing of something considered worthless. And our judgments will do that to us when we perceive something to be worthless or not worth our time or not valuable, especially in another person, and then we completely discard everything. There's so much creativity and innovation and knowledge and wisdom that can come through this this channel. But I don't know, their loss? You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Why isn't the horse drinking? That's kind of a two-way street there too, isn't it? The phrase can be used to describe intentional or unintentional actions. It is often used in the negative to warn against such careless or hasty behavior. For example, quitting a job because of a minor issue is throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Firing somebody or kicking somebody out over a minor issue will create just loss, like a big empty gap. Like, what have you just missed out on? Or like quitting or wanting to give up things because of minor issues. That's that. Not wanting to confront things and not wanting to be authentic, or not wanting to deal with things that make you uncomfortable because they're perceived as dark and negative or bad, and or people just want to perceive themselves or feel light and happy. And in one of my conversations yesterday, I was upset because I don't have any money. I don't know how to pay my bills. And the response and the reaction to it is, go see a psychiatrist and go take pills. With what money? Like, how is that supposed to solve anything? How is that supposed to solve my problems? How is it supposed to pay my bills? It doesn't. And then you can't, in those spaces, be so desperate that you're begging and pleading because people want to hide that or put that away. or pretend like it doesn't exist, but I know that it bothers them and that it eats at them. And then they ask you, is there anything else I can do for you? Is there anything else I can do for you? And then you say, this is what I need. This is what you can do for me. Then it turns into this whole, well, that's not what I wanted to do for you. And you're taking advantage of me, or you need something, or you're challenging my belief systems and therefore don't deserve anything. Or the times that I've asked for help and people have been like, other people have it worse than you do, just get over it. Like, your problems aren't that bad. Or this one is my favorite. Oh, my cousin with all the problems. Like, all your problems are all your own fault. And so what? We just walk around the world, we just walk around the earth pretending like we don't have problems, burying our problems, letting our problems eat at us, letting them bury us away instead of sharing them and sharing these things. Not even just sharing, not like you want other people to have those, but just to be accepted and acknowledged for this is life, and it's fucked, and it's painful, and it's okay, and emotions are okay. But because something doesn't fit the group norm and the group ideal, we shut it out. Like, I don't get it. Know your power comes up. So if anything in this space, knowing, right, there's, which is funny because observe in silence, and everybody's just observing and watching in silence. So we're all connected. There's trust. It's nourishing, isn't it? Nourishes the soul. Wow, there's just, I don't know, there's a lot. Let two become one, let things merge together. This is just, I don't know, this is getting to be a little overwhelming, and I gotta go ground myself in. I don't know. Okay. Create, make art, just do the things, do the laborious work, right? I don't know. Things will all come in different perspectives, and sure. I gotta go.